fellas. Hi, how are you? Thank you very much indeed. Let's take care of that. Okay. Hello, thank you for joining us and welcome to Friday Night with Jonathan Ross. Well, see, look, I'm falling over. Shall we see who's in my green room tonight? We've got a packed show for you. Let's have a look. My first two guests, that Mitchell and Webb look. Look, it's Mitchell and Webb. Hello there. It's David Mitchell, that's Robert Webb.
Hello.
Here for you. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Two of the best comedians in the country. Next up, we have the songwriting genius behind recently reformed Take That. Because, you see, the fans are getting a bit older now, and they don't hear us well. Did he say take that? Yeah. Ooh, yes! Hold it up, take me mint out. Ooh! Take that, and he's now also an author. It's Mr. Gary Barlow. There he is. Evening, Gary. That's better screaming. OK. You looking cool, Gary? Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, mate. Good to be here.
Gary's not just back with the band, of course. He's written his autobiography. His autobiography's out. And, Robbie, if you're watching, you're in the index under C. For crooner. For crooner. Next, we have the star of the fantastic American medical sitcom. I hope you've been watching. This is a great show, Scrubs. It's Mr. Zach Braff. There's Zach. A proper American star. Welcome, Zach.
Hi.
Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
But we have a chef. Well, actually, we have the chef. He's the thinking woman's Anthony Worrell Thompson. It's Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay. Evening, Chief. Gordon looks cool. Look at that. He's a cool man. Welcome back, Gordon.
Good to see you, John.
Nice to have you here.
Likewise.
Gordon decided to come on this show rather than Charlotte Church because he couldn't stand all that swearing. Isn't that right, Gordon? Gordon Ramsay. Now, I'm sure you all remember the scene from Crocodile Dundee. Remember the first Crocodile Dundee movie when Paul Hogan, as Crocodile Dundee, is accosted in the street by a knife-wielding mugger. And the fella gets his knife out, and Crocodile Dundee says, "Call that a knife?" Right, because he's Australian. He goes... You didn't see the film? He says, "Call that a knife?" Then he pulls out a huge blade. He goes, "No, that's a knife." Like that, because he's Australian. He was originally from Ireland, I believe. Well, Paul, you were wrong, because this is a knife. Look at this. This is a knife. Look at that. It's the biggest Swiss Army knife in the world. We ever made this. Is a genuine Swiss Army knife. They just put it out. It's got 110 attachments, weighs nearly 3 pounds. OK? 3 words spring to my mind. Drowned Boy Scout. You can't carry this in your pocket. Look at it. It's got spanners. It's got screwdrivers. It's great, isn't it? It's even got, somewhere near, where has it gone? It's got a telescopic pointer thing, look at that. So you can say, "Oi, you, look at my knife." You want a piece of me? Look at that. One word of advice, don't try and get on a plane with one of these, you'll shut Heathrow down for a fortnight. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Who'd buy one of these? Let's get my first guest out, shall we? Without this man, there would have been no Boyzone and no Westlife, but we should not hold that against him. Please welcome Gary Barlow. Gary Barlow. Gary, how are you? Great to see you again. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Now, last time Gary was on the show, it was when Take That Were getting back together, and you announced a tour. Take That Were back on the road. How did that tour go? Was it what you hoped it would be? Did it go as well as you'd hoped?
Well, the thing that worried us, especially when we came on your show, everyone kept asking us what the dance routine's going to be like. We were all thinking, oh, we're a bit older now, you know, it's not going to be quite as good, this.
Because how long ago was it since you'd been together performing? What was the gap in between?
10 years.
10 years, that's a while.
Yeah. And anyway, the first day in rehearsals, Jason came in and he span on his head 6 times to start with. That was the first move, and we thought, I think we're going to be all right.
Never mind, Jason, how did you cope with the routine?
Not too bad.
Yeah?
Not too bad, yeah.
You still got the moves?
Do you know what? I had my wife with me on tour as well, as one of the dancers. So I was getting tuition after hours as well.
When you say tuition, what are you talking about here?
Use your imagination.
OK, so you went on the tour and it went pretty well. You're doing a new album, I believe, is that correct?
Yep. Okay. Made a new album over the summer. In fact, can I get a plug in for next Tuesday? We're on the Chris Moyles show at the first exclusive play of the new single.
Plug away and we'll edit it out in the morning. But so this is so it's a proper commitment now then, because obviously you get back together and you know, people think, okay, they're testing the water. You know, they work together for many years. They're seeing if it works out. You went on tour, you loved it. You're going to stick together as a band. You're going to make it a going concern.
Well, the thing for us, we never even announced we're going to do a new record. I think we're just taking every day as it comes, really. We really enjoyed the tour. We had a great time doing that, and we've actually really enjoyed recording and writing together, because the writing I always did in the past, and we've all been in together as a band, and it's been so great doing that.
I guess it will feel a little fairer down the line as well, because I know, obviously, the person who writes the songs really winds up earning most of the money when the hits. Isn't that the case in the recording business?
The writing is very lucrative.
Yeah.
And I guess it just means that we share everything.
So previously, the early albums, you must have made most of the money. But now, if you have another album, then maybe Mark can move out that caravan. Would I be right?
Probably.
Now, let's talk about your weight, because in the back... Look, because look at you there, there's nothing of you there. Look at that, look. I mean, look at all... You were, obviously, of the band, it seems you were the one who struggled the most with keeping your weight and keeping your physique in the way that was required for someone in that band. Because I've had that as well, I've been up and down as well. So what happens there? I mean, now presumably you diet all the time, or what do you do?
Pretty much, actually. I mean, I don't know about you, but you know, if I don't concentrate on what I'm eating, I get to the end of the week and I've put on half a stone. Just seems to just go on me like that.
Because you're about what? You're about 5'2", 5'3", so that's a big weight. He's wearing Cuban heels.
Yes. Spotted.
No, you're not. So that was pretty big then. And did you feel... well, what did you feel when you were that weight?
Well, it's a transitional period, because I mean, just before our son was born, I got dropped by the label. And basically, you find yourself, you wake up one morning, you've been busy for 8 years doing the most amazing things, travelling around the world, and all of a sudden, there's nothing happening. And you've either got to, you know, go away and work it out, or, you know, you do what I did. And we actually took our son and we moved to America for a while to get out of England.
Well, it was kind of weird, though, because people sort of really went for you in a weird way, didn't they? Because I suppose everyone knew that you were the one who had the kind of most obvious talent in the band, in that you wrote the songs. I mean, everyone, all of you guys were gifted performers, but you were writing the songs as well. And everyone, I think, thought, OK, Gary's going to go into this huge success. He's going to be another George Michael. He's going to be an Elton John type figure. And, of course, it was Robbie that people warmed to and had that huge success. And you seem to become a really odd target for people. And I know you don't know why that is. No one really knows what it is. But it was kind of pretty relentless, wasn't it?
Well, I think, and eventually what happened was with me and Rob was it became a competition, and that was the worst thing that could have happened for me, because all that happened is I just lost my confidence, and then, of course, you end up finishing your own career. And that's why I think, you know, that when the tour came around last year, it was such a relief again to be able to be involved in music and do what we all love to do. Yeah. And it was great for that.
But you weren't not involved in music. I know you went off and you wrote any number of hit songs for other people, didn't you? I mean, you kept that side of your career going pretty strong, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a studio at home, and, you know, I love music so much. I love to be involved in it. And basically, I went behind the scenes for 4 or 5 years, which is actually when I started to write the book then, because originally the book was going to be a thin thing. It was going to be called Backstage for Good, saying I'm never going to be an artist
again. Yeah. Well, it kind of gives it a much nicer ending and it's a more interesting book as a result, I think. But certainly you get the feeling, and I've read the book and I really enjoyed it. You really get the feeling of what it must have been like, because you talk about the day you received the phone call saying you were dropped from your label, and you were on the way to an interview, weren't you? And you turned around and went back home thinking, I have nothing more to say.
Yeah.
And you really get a sense of just how that your world just changed instantly at that moment.
And I mean, but basically, you know, the up and down of the book is great, I think, for nowadays, because celebrities just seem to come and go. And I think that, you know, we watch them for a while, we're fascinated by them, it's on to the next. What happens to that person then? Where do they go and what do they do? And I think that's, for me, it was the most interesting bit of the book to write.
Obviously, people are fascinated by your relationship with Robbie, even to this day, because it seems kind of weird, doesn't it? Robbie, you guys went on tour, and Robbie seemed to patch things up with you, and you guys made the effort, and he made the effort, and it seemed that everything was okay again.
And Rob did as a film piece for our tour that we played every night. It was like a hologram, we projected it onto water. And that was like the first step, I thought, in the right direction. It was good of him to do that. And then we met him halfway through the tour. And in fact, we were all convinced he was going to come on one night. He was talking about dates and all the rest of it. But it just never happened.
Well, he came on this show and I said, are you going to join Take That on tour? And he said, yeah. And we had a kind of sort of jokey bet that if I beat him at tennis, which I would have done, right, without doubt, because he's like a podgy little kid from Stoke, you know, and I'm a semi-professional athlete. And then I phoned him and I said, you want to do this thing? He said, oh yeah, I'm a bit busy, man, at the moment. Because he speaks like that, I don't know if you noticed. I'm a bit busy doing this and that. All right. Now that's Liam Gallagher, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Anyway, he said, I'm a bit busy at the moment, and we never got it together, we never did that. And I got the feeling that when he said that he was going to join your stage, I think he believed you, I think he meant it. And
I think every day is another day for Rob as well, it seems.
As opposed to, for us, every day is...
You're right.
Anyway, let's move on.
Right.
There's more of that in the book. There's a lot of wisdom to be found.
What I meant by that was, he feels something one day and he wakes up the next day and the world's changed.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
He's a character of moods, it seems to me. He's like a little creature of the elements, almost. Gary Barlow, with his backing band, Take That on tour. Well, I'm so thrilled it's worked out for you because, I mean, I met you once during the period when it wasn't going so well. Yeah. I don't know if you remember, you came on a radio show I had a while back when, and I remember thinking, what a lovely man, what a decent man. So I'm glad that it's now turned around and you're back on top.
Thank you.
Do you still dream about food? Because you told me that at that time that at night you had a dream. Was it fish and chips or was it a Twix bar?
It was Jason. He put me on this detox thing. And all we ate for 2 days was raw fruit and raw veg.
It's no good for a grown
And on the second night, I had a dream that I was asleep on a Twix bar. And I woke up rubbing my face in it. Oh, it was lovely.
Do you like a donut occasionally? Are you allowed to have donuts?
I could be talked into one. Yeah, that's nice. I'll have a little bite. How old are these?
Would it really make any difference?
No.
I always consider that the sell-by date on a product is just an advisory thing. Yeah. Cheers, good up.
You know what? You've eaten at Gordon's restaurants. I mean, he's responsible, at least for one of my love handles. I love his places.
Yeah? Yeah, but nothing in his place tastes as good as this, does it? Gordon. Hey, Gordon, isn't that true? You can't make something as good as this, can you?
He makes these. I've had these at his
Not
restaurant.
as good as this. He sends out for them. I've seen him. Most of his stuff are ready meals.
Really?
You've got his kitchen, all you hear is the ping of the bloody microwave and himself. It's great soup, isn't it? Oh, isn't that good?
Yeah, great.
Want to bite my one?
Yeah. What's going on with this one?
Well,
here,
I
then?
don't know. I put it to you, Mr. Barlow.
You need to try this.
I do need to try it.
That's killer. That's killer, that
What's in it?
Just full of really.
Good enough for me.
Yeah.
So now you've had that,
Yep.
would you have to spend more time on the running machine tomorrow, or do you just not worry about it too much?
I'll have to go running tonight when I get home now.
Will you do? You won't do that, will you?
No.
And if your wife's in? I always hope that if I have donuts, that'll get rid of it for me. Yeah. All right, before you go, one little thing. Do you remember this? Did you ever see these when they came out? This is, I don't know, you may well have some of these if you're a fan. The Take That doll that came out. And there's Gary, wearing a terrible jacket from the look of things. Was that weird when you saw yourself in doll form for the first time? That must have been pretty strange. Did you have any say about what you were wearing or what you looked like? Or?
Not really. I remember him just arriving one morning. Because we were always paranoid about lunch boxes and pillowcases and all these things.
All the merchandising.
And we did them all. But these dolls arrived and I loved it. I thought it was great. I was so excited one day. I went off to the local Toys R Us in Chester and I thought I'll go and buy me doll, so I put a cap on so they didn't recognise me.
Hold on.
What?
Surely they would have given you one, wouldn't they?
No, I couldn't wait for the box to arrive. I had to go and see him on the shelves.
That would have been a moment, yeah.
I nipped in and I went down at Barbie, Action Man, and there they were. Mark, Rob, they were all there stacked up. I thought, this is brilliant, but I couldn't find me. So I went back to the girl on the counter, pulled the cap down a bit further. Said, excuse me, love, take that doll, it's down the bottom there. I can't find the Gary doll. And she went, oh, no, you won't, love. Oh, you've got to buy Robbie, Mark, Howard and Jason, buy all the coupons, send them off, you get Gary for free.
Oh, that's not fair.
But if you go on eBay, mine's 30p dearer than the others.
How sad that you've checked the price of your doll on eBay. So I'll have one of those tags. Ladies and gentlemen, seriously, I've read the book. I've enjoyed it very much indeed. Get yourself a copy. It's called My Take. Yep. OK, it's Mr. Gary Barlow, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. You can take those out. Take them away from me. Because I've finished them.
Cheers, mate.
Nice to see you. Thank you. Gary Barlow. I've just done my house up. Well, I say I've done it up, actually. Some fine gentlemen from the London Borough of Poland did most of the work for me. Let's get our next guest out, shall we? They're a comedy double act who have already been dubbed the new Little and Wise. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mitchell and Webb. Let me introduce you in case people are confused. This is Mr. David Mitchell, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
This is Mr. Robert Webb.
Hi.
OK. Thank you for coming on. Now, I was surprised, though, because I thought you guys, because you played the character so convincingly, I assumed that you'd written the show, which you didn't.
Oh, no.
We're almost always scrupulous about pointing out that we don't. Yeah. Sometimes we just pretend that, you know, we write the whole thing, but actually, no, it's Sam Bain and Jesse Armstrong.
Is it in any way based on you two? Because you seem to inhabit the character so comfortably, and having bumped into you only briefly in real life, you seem somewhat similar to the characters in the show.
To the two losers.
Well, no.
Two lives.
Unbelievably lost, clueless,
people who are at once unhappy and self-obsessed. And
yes, I suppose if
women.
you know, I don't really want to get bogged down with the details, but you seem quite similar, and I wondered whether indeed you had inspired any of the shenanigans that take place in the series.
It may have been that the writers found two of the most hopeless individuals in the world and decided to take pity on us and find one environment in which we could thrive. One of self-mockery.
Yes. I'm also very much enjoying that Mitchell and Webb look, which is actually more your own product, I guess, because you write that as well as starring.
We do.
Yeah.
OK. It's on Thursday nights, I believe.
That's right.
Yes.
And it seems to be like people are now paying a lot more attention to you than previously, and it's almost as if, you know, you're being treated like one of these overnight successes. These guys, the big new stars to be. How long have you actually been together for, though?
52 years. But it's been such a joy. It looks like we're younger.
Just young men.
You know, it only feels like 12 years.
Yeah. So you met, where were you? University, or you were working?
That's right.
Yeah.
And we started doing, you know, little shows as a hobby, and
then ruined it all by turning it into a job.
Yeah.
So we hate comedy now.
Yeah, and we haven't got a hobby now. I've been trying model trains, but I'm not really into it, so have to fall back on, you know, history and masturbation.
Yeah.
Like my character in Peep Show.
You've got a tour coming up, I know that. Now, you're going to be living in each other's pockets, figuratively, OK, on the road together, leading the wild life, like young men do, OK? And you will get on each other's nerves occasionally.
Yeah, but I mean, we went through that phase years ago. I mean, it's fine. If we were going to have a massive stand-up, knuckle-busting row, then I think we would have done that in sort of 1996.
Have you ever had a big row?
No.
No, we like to sort of suppress all those feelings.
Horrible, passive-aggressive, tetchy bitterness.
It's better to be passive-aggressive, I think.
Oh, definitely,
I think speaking your mind is wildly overrated.
If you feel that something's going wrong, then you go, OK, fine.
Okay, that's how we write.
That's the best, that's the adult way of dealing with it.
I think this will be a good show. Do you?
Yeah. OK.
OK, well, put it then. Yeah, right. That'll be fine.
Are you looking forward to the tour? When does the tour kick off?
Oh, yeah,
Very much.
It starts a fortnight. Well, no, it starts in
on the
13 days' time. It's a useful way of putting it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It
starts
in
30.
I have no other
The
unit
19th
of time
of October.
other than the day. You know,
Just say in a couple of weeks. That'll be
couple
fine.
of weeks, that's fine.
You're a very precise person, I could tell.
Try and keep it precise, yeah.
And have you got it all screwed down and ready? You've rehearsed it? You know what you're doing exactly?
I think if we did the show tomorrow, it would be a up. But no, we've got a couple of weeks. We basically know what we're doing.
A lot of character changes, a lot of costume changes on stage?
Oh, yeah, a lot of costume changes.
Lightning fast
Wigs
costume changes.
And hats and, you know...
Trousers sometimes.
Bits of set moving around.
Anyone else on stage with you?
Yes, we have James Barkman and Abigail Burdess, who are two very funny supporting people helpers.
And they're on stage. They do a little support beforehand, or just on stage with you?
No,
They just get the bad parts in sketches.
And they get an equal share of all profits, I imagine?
No.
No.
No. They're not being paid, because this is a wonderful opportunity for them. they understand that.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the tour bus does get a bit messy.
Yes.
And
So it's
they're,
useful
they're
to
there
have.
for that,
Yeah.
you know.
And they can always sleep underneath it, because it's got quite big wheels.
Yeah.
So.
Also, the fellas, you're just about the busiest people in show business right now. I guess you're striking while the iron's very hot, in case it goes cold on you, I suppose. Not that it will. I don't want to worry you, but of course, you know, I've seen them all rise and fall, and inevitably after a rise there will be a fall. It's a simple chemistry of celebrity. That which is hot must inevitably grow cold, and that which is cold can be reheated, but only very carefully and not more than once. So anyway, you're busy at the moment.
We should kill ourselves now.
No. You're busy at the moment, and you're making a movie as well, and I'm very excited about this. This is a film. It's written by the guys who wrote Peep Show. Is that correct?
Yeah, us.
Yes.
Okay.
Sam and Jesse, yeah.
Can you tell us what the premise is of the film?
It's about two magicians who were a fairly successful magician double act, and then they fell out when David's magician cut the head off his assistant wife after he discovered her sleeping with me, the magician.
So he actually cut it off. It wasn't a kind of clever trick.
He did, but we didn't know.
It
We don't
was
know.
supposed to be a clever trick.
We don't know
turned
whether
out-
it was murder or accident. Murder or accident. Accident. It's a bit like Quincy, really. Murder, accident. And then, but they get together 4 years later because they're both sort of on their uppers, and because they need to win a magic competition for the money.
Let me ask you about solo work. Because, David, you've been on any number of other TV shows. At the moment, you're kind of a regular on at least one panel show I'm aware of. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm on a show called Best of the Worst, and I've been on lots of them, and I like them.
You like them because you're good at them and you can show off on them.
Well,
Yes,
thank you
that's
very
it,
much.
isn't it, Robert? You can, but you are very good at them, and you're a bit of a show-off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're all show-offs, aren't we?
Well, not
Look, we're
necessarily.
sitting here pretending to have a chat, like this is how we chat, and there are hundreds of other people there, and it's being broadcast. That's not the behaviour of normal people.
It's not normal.
Otherwise, this isn't how you'd arrange your living room. It's absurd. Where's
You
the
should be
TV?
using that space more effectively.
Yeah, you ever been round to someone's house to give you a cup of tea and say, no, I prefer to sit behind a desk? You'd leave, wouldn't you?
Now, tell me about your projects.
I really better not invite you round again. There you go. That's Mitchell and Webb. Look, it's on Thursday, and you're heading up the tour, as we've established, in 13 days from now.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, count them down.
Approximately 13 days. And I'm hoping you will be filming the tour, because those sort of
Yeah,
things...
we will, and
We
there'll
will.
be a DVD for people to take home with them and remember it.
You won't sell it on the night of the tour, though, will you?
No, I think it will be ready sort of halfway through the tour.
Because that's a bit tawdry if you're waiting as people are leaving with your own little stall going...
Okay, let's see
well,
that again at home.
Jonathan, there's Christmas coming up,
Thank you very much for coming on the show. I'm a big fan. I hope you carry on doing both shows. I love Peep Show, so please don't stop doing that. But that Mitchell and Webb look is great as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Robert Webb and David Mitchell. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming on. Mitchell and Webb, ladies and gentlemen. Now then, let's get our next guest out. Please welcome Mr. Zach Braff, ladies and gentlemen. Come on in, Zach. Sit yourself down. You're a lot bigger than I thought you'd be. You're a lot taller. I thought you were quite a small fella, but you're a decent sized man. You're
6 feet even.
Okay, just saw you in Scrubs. What a great show.
Oh, thank you.
Great fun. How many series have you done of that?
We've just started the 6th one.
Right. And will this be it for you, or are you doing more? Because I know your film career is really taking off now as well.
I don't know. I mean, the show I think could go on for a long time. I sort of don't have to decide for a couple months till March, so I think I'll procrastinate as long as I can.
Because I would have thought if you leave, maybe they could carry on, but it would be a kind of big upheaval for them, wouldn't it?
They always tell me that they'd be fine without me, so...
Well, they will say that when you're negotiating.
Yeah. But maybe that's what they say. But.
Okay, now the character you play, John Dorian, his name is.
John Dorian, he's a medical... Well, now he's a doctor. When the show first started, he was an intern, really wide-eyed, and he's very goofy and silly, but always tries to do the right thing, but always ends up running into walls. And
A decent sort.
very decent. And actually, he's a good doctor, but it just takes him a long way to get there.
Have you picked up any actual doctoring skills while making this show?
Not really. I wish I had picked up more. People sometimes ask me to check them out,
Really?
Yeah.
You're going to the wrong clubs. But would you ever attempt to pass yourself off as a doctor?
It depends what the circumstances were, if they were interesting. Do you have a scenario for me?
Pamela Anderson has passed out on a busy sidewalk.
Yes.
She's gasping for air.
Yeah.
Clearly her clothing needs to be loosened. Step one.
She's not really my type.
Okay.
It's such an odd show.
All right, so, do you think, Zachary,
Yes.
do you think doctors ever get tired? Say you're a straight man, which you probably are, right, and you're a doctor. Right? Nothing wrong if you're not. And you're a doctor, and a lady's coming all day. Okay, let's talk about, Zach is not just a talented actor, he's also, he's a writer and director as well.
Yeah.
Congratulations, there was a movie, was it 2 years ago, I think it came out?
Yes.
Was it 2004? Garden State. I don't know how many of you saw Garden State. It was a charming, funny, romantic film. Zach Braff directed and starred in it. Pretty low budget, I imagine.
Yeah, we made it for $2.5 million, so...
Wow, that's next to nothing, really, for a proper
Yeah,
film.
nothing.
And it went on to be quite a success, didn't it?
Yeah, it did really well.
I'm surprised that you haven't made another film yourself. I know you're appearing in a new movie as an actor, which we'll talk about in a minute, but I'm surprised that you haven't...
Well,
because...
Scrubs is a lot of work. We do Scrubs for 8 months out of the year. So actually what happened was I made Garden State, and then I edited it, and I did Scrubs for 8 months, and then I spent that next hiatus promoting Garden State. So I only have a limited couple of months a year to do my own projects.
Okay. Zachary Braff is a Jewish gentleman, is this correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have the Jewish faith. Being Jewish, did you go through, how kind of, I don't know what the word is, not hardcore, how traditional Jewish are your family? How Jewish...
How Jewish am
How
I?
Judaic...
That's a good name for a show. How Jewish are you?
But I see, my wife is Jewish, and she's not really that Jewish.
I'm not really that Jewish. I enjoy a lot of aspects of it, the traditions and the humor of it. But I can't say that I'm a good enough Jew to go to temple regularly or anything.
Did you go through the bar mitzvah process?
Oh, I did have a bar mitzvah.
See, I kind of admire Jewish people for sticking with that, because my boy's about to turn 30 next year, and basically he's just going to be slobbing around playing video games for the year. And all
Well, I
his
didn't have a
friends at school-
choice. My parents made me.
Well, you learn stuff from the Torah, don't you?
Well, you learn you learn to read Hebrew, which is its own alphabet, and how to pronounce it.
So that's a big chore.
That's very hard, actually. I have no idea what it means, but I could read a Hebrew sentence. It's hard enough just to learn how to read it. So between whatever age up to 13, you learn how to read it so that you can read from the Torah on your bar mitzvah.
But incredible.
This segment's called Zach Braff Presents Judaism.
Yeah, but what a marvellous thing to do, because, you know, it would acquaint the young man with the intricacies of his faith and make him prepare him
You
for
don't
the future.
care about any of that.
No. Well, okay.
What you care about is they're going to throw you a huge party and someone tells you you're going to get cash as presents.
So you have a big party. That's right, it has to be a big party. And lots of other Jews come as well, is that right?
Well, non-Jews are invited as well.
I went to one, although the door policy wasn't that stringent. I had to wear a yarmulke and sit at the back, and I was wearing the yarmulke. I must admit, I thought I looked quite rakish with the yarmulke. I looked a bit like Robert Redford with the yarmulke. Okay, well, Garden State is one of the favourite films in my house. My kids love watching it. The older ones of the kids love watching it. The new movie is out now. Is this a movie I can take kids to? This is called Last Kiss.
No.
It's not the same sort of film? It's not a similar kind
No,
of...
this is, it's pretty naughty.
Oh.
There's a lot of sex. It's more of a drama, I would say. It's not as, there is some comedy in it, but it's a really intense, more of a raw movie about relationships and turning 30 and commitment and lust and sex and love.
It follows the kind of stories of a group of friends, a group of
It's
young
about a
people.
group of guys who are all, it's actually based on an Italian movie called L'ultimo bacio. And this is an American version of it. It's about a group of 30-year-old men who are all facing their own crises about getting committed for the rest of their lives.
Now, the character you play is a young man who is married, I believe.
He's married.
He's married.
Well, no, I shouldn't say he's married. He's been in a relationship for 3 years, and they're talking about marriage.
Okay. And then he finds out that his partner is...
He finds out that she's with child unexpectedly.
Okay. Yeah. And this prompts him... He doesn't rush out to buy booties.
No.
He goes into a spiral of doubt.
Well, he gets really terrified. It all sort of happens very quickly. You know, I think that my generation grew up with most of our parents getting divorced, it seems like. So now that we're reaching marriage age, there's maybe even a little more skepticism than usual about whether it's possible to be with someone forever. And in fact, my character has a line in the movie where I say to my girlfriend, I told you I'd marry you when you could name 3 couples you know personally that have lasted more than 5 years. And when she can't, he sort of has felt like proud that he's proven his point.
But of course, if I may use the phrase, a schmuck. What a terrible thing to say to a partner.
Yeah, but you know, one of the things that's cool about this movie is that, like I said, it's very real. And it isn't. I'm shocked that an American studio made this movie. This isn't about like where the leads do all the right things and say all the right things and are the good guys. I mean, these are about guys who are often, you know, assholes.
They all mess up. And who is the young woman who plays your part in the film?
My girlfriend is played by Jacinda Barrett.
So you have Jacinda Barrett, and and then your character gets it on with another lady.
Well, what happens is, amidst his crisis of dealing with freaking out a little bit, he's not helped by the fact that a young seductress, played by Rachel Bilson, who you may know from the OC, she makes it very clear that she wants to sleep with him.
That makes life complicated.
That complicates things, yes.
That's Zach in action there. The movie opens all over the UK here on October the 20th. How nice to spend some time with you. What a charming guest.
Thank you.
He's a funny, witty and very talented young man. Mr. Zach Braff.
You've been so nice.
Thank you so much. No, it was great to have you on. Really, thank you. Mr. Zach Braff, ladies and gentlemen. Ask for him by name. Time for my final guest. It's late enough. The kids should be in bed, so your table is ready, sir. Here he is, Mr. Gordon Ramsay. Dapper.
Good to see you, man.
You're looking fat, Mr. Gordon Ramsay.
Hi, guys.
You're a good-looking man. Hey, Gordon, how are you?
Very well, thank you. How are
You're
you?
looking very fit.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Now, since Gordon was last on the programme, he was on the show quite a while ago, in actual fact, although time flies.
Yes.
You have been awarded an OBE by Her Majesty the Queen of England.
Great news.
Well, I suppose it was great news. When you got to the palace, were they worried that you might say, thanks a lot, Your Majesty? Or were they concerned? Did they warn you about the swearing when you turned up at the Buckingham Palace?
I was really excited. And I went to Hollywood, Edinburgh, which was nice. So.
Oh, you went up there to get it?
Yeah.
Ah, so you got one of the second-class ones then, because mine was in London.
Mum wasn't there for yours.
No, she wasn't.
Yeah, she was for mine.
You know why she wasn't there? She said one doesn't trust oneself with a hunk of manhood like that. Apparently. Now, listen. Gordon. Yeah. Gordon is heading for an important birthday. I know he looks older, but he's going to be 40.
You're such a.
Big plans for your 40th birthday?
Yeah, a bit of a party, and there's been a weird scenario over the last couple of weeks because Tana's been sort of telling the kids that we're doing this surprise, that surprise, and make sure whatever you do, don't tell your dad. And Jack and I have got this amazing relationship where we don't lie to each other. And on Saturday, his eyes were like...
Jackie's your boy. How old is he now?
He's 6.
6 years old.
And he was like filling up, and his eyes were starting to water, and we were at Stamford Bridge, and it was his first game. And I said, mate, what's the matter with you? He said, you know, when you said best mates don't tell each other lies, well, I want to tell you something, but I can't. I've got to wait 4 weeks. So he said, I've got you a present, and it's, no, I can't tell you. I'll tell you at half-time. So it was really hard to see him sort of get stressed out all of a sudden because he'd been telling me a sort of lie, but stroke secret. Really nice.
You're lucky you didn't say, you know, I'm not going to tell you this, but Mum's leaving you. Because sometimes kids will have to keep secrets like that.
Yeah, not quite that bad. Yeah.
How lovely, though. And your kids are so important to you.
Yeah, amazing.
Having watched the show, I can see what a big part of your life that is. Very different to your upbringing. I don't mean that in a casual way, but having read your book, which is out now called Humble Pie, which is Gordon's story, and what a life journey you've been on. What a remarkable life you've had.
Yeah, I think the kids have actually helped me write it in a way that you sort of see them growing up, and everything they've got is something you never had. So you never become jealous or envious of your kids, but you start to sort of flashback, and you start to tell yourself that, God, what they've got is the security. You know, they're in one house, they've got the most amazing school, they get on very well with each other, and they don't sort of have to keep on moving every 18 months, 2 years.
Your relationship with your mum, I guess, is what kept you going.
Yeah,
in
solid.
many ways. Your relationship with your father was really not what you would have wished.
No, hit and miss.
Okay. But in a way, do you think that helped make you the man you are? Because when you read Gordon's book, you really get the feeling of how hard you have worked and continue to work to get where you are and to stay where you are. Yeah. And I can't help but think that part of that comes from not having everything when you were a kid.
Yeah, and having that level of, I suppose not discipline, but, you know, Dad and I didn't get on. And so it was a very sort of turbulent sort of togetherness. I never felt secure with him. So he sort of, I suppose, helped me in a way, indirectly, to be what I am today in terms of staying focused and, you know, being slightly assertive.
And do you ever worry, and I'm asking you because I sometimes worry about this myself, is that when you give your kids perhaps too much, you know, and don't make them work for it in the same way that perhaps you had to work for it, you worry that you're not preparing them for life in the same way that you were, not, in a way not giving them the chances by trying to give them too much.
Yeah, no, that's a tough call because you've got to find that balance. But the kids get pocket money every week and they get £1 each, and...
You China... How dare days, a pound is nothing. Are you
No,
kidding?
but if they save that for 4 weeks, then I'll put another £1 in, so they go down to Woolworths and buy themselves.
Well, you're the bleeding heart of generosity, you are, aren't you? There's a fiver after a month of cleaning up for me in the kitchen.
They're 4, 6, and 8,
Fair
so
enough.
shouldn't spoil them.
They're little ones.
No paper yet.
OK. You've worked pretty solidly since... How old were you, do you think, when you considered that your career as a chef, when did you really embark on it properly? When did you consider that you knew it was what you wanted to do?
Yeah, the age of 19.
19 years old?
Yeah.
Hold it, there's a picture of Gordon. I think he's been dressed up by some bigger boys to make him look silly. Look at that. I wouldn't want that spotty face leaning over my soup, I'll be honest with you. Chef!
That was the first time I'd actually put a pair of whites on.
So that's your first chef's whites. That's
First
quite.
chef whites,
You
and-
must have thought that was a. Well, it must have been a big moment for you, wasn't it?
As you can see, the jacket was slightly big, the hat was slightly floppy, and I got a big spot on the right of my lip.
So you kind of. And did you know when you started cooking? Did you think this is for me, or you just like the atmosphere? Because whenever I see, and I've not really been in kitchens, I've walked through them occasionally, but it seems to me like it's really hard work.
Yeah, it's graft.
You know, and I know you don't seem to mind that, but it just seems like it's really hard work every bloody night, and it's like there's no let up, and I don't personally see the appeal. I'll be honest with you.
I mean, it's 14, 15, sometimes 16 hours a day, 5, 6 days a week, and it's, you know, you're on a journey. You've got to get in that sort of ingredient, and you've got to make sure that you're not intimidated by it. Understand it, you know, cook it, and sort of make it perfect. That's not easy.
You don't cook anymore, though, do you?
Oh, of course I do.
I heard you couldn't cook anymore. I heard you weren't very good.
You're such a
I heard you lost the ability. I heard you were really just a spokesperson there, isn't that right?
You're such a you know that.
Is there going to be a new series of Kitchen Nightmares? Because that, of your shows, that was my favourite one of them.
Yeah. That starts next month, sometime in November. Just come back from Spain.
I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I think you're going soft in your old age. All right, now, when I was invited on what's that show that you do, the one I went on? Is that Hell's Kitchen?
No, that was the F
F word, all the same, really. I went on Gordon's show called The F Word. Very similar to the other ones.
Such a you know.
I admire you for not calling me a so far, because normally by now, you normally hit that C word barrier. I went on the Gordons, it's called the F word.
You
The C word. Next series could be the C word.
Okay, yeah, the cooking word.
Okay, I went on Gordon's show, the F word, and this is one where you have people who are kind of wannabe chefs and wannabe cooks.
That's right, yeah.
You put them in a proper, and it's kind of they set the restaurant up for the occasion,
Yep,
don't they?
proper.
People are out to come in and eat, and you talk to them and say, did you enjoy the meal? If you did, you pay for it. If you didn't.
Absolutely.
But then Gordon dragged me out in the kitchen and made me eat something quite horrible. That was the still beating heart from an eel.
That's right.
Which I swallowed down. And we didn't speak afterwards, but when I got home that night, while I was lying in bed, I could still feel, I couldn't feel it beating, but you know when you've eaten something you can't digest? I could feel it inside me, still in there, okay? That was pretty horrible.
I know.
So...
Japanese delicacy.
Apparently so.
Right.
So in return, I brought some delicacies in for you.
Oh.
And these are actual things, okay, these are actual treats from around the world, and I want to see, Gordon, you've got to eat at least 2 of these.
Each.
I ate. Did you eat eel heart? No, you didn't. Don't like you might have forgotten. You would know.
I tried it in the afternoon.
No, you didn't. All right. Mopani worms. These are sun-dried emperor moth caterpillars, which apparently are a delicacy among Botswana natives. That's because obviously they don't have Pringles. So... oh, look at that little. Go on, look at that. Look, there you go. Look at that. Can you see that? Fancy that?
Not really, no.
OK, well, you're going to eat one of these things. OK. Thai green curry crickets. Chocolate-covered scorpion. Chili-flavoured worm crisps. And salt and vinegar crickets. Although we don't have any oysters. But I believe the Botswanan moths are delicious.
Oh, God.
Would you like me to get some water ready for you for afterwards?
Yes, please, yeah. Just one, right? Yeah, I'll go for the chocolate-coloured spider.
OK, it is a moth caterpillar he's chosen, and... Can I give you a bit of advice?
It stinks. Smell that, just smell that.
Oh! Don't worry, there's plenty to go around. Oh, don't snap it in half again, you big wuss. What a baby. Oh, you got it all over your tight old man jeans. Even Jeremy Clarkson's at home saying they're a bit tight. Go on, down in one, down in one. What? No!
No, don't be a f***er. It's hard. It's hard.
I ate a heart, you can eat a moth.
Oh, come on.
And next time, you go on the naughty step. I think we'll let you off the hook.
Thank you.
You had it in your mouth twice, and that's enough to know whether you like it or not. And OK, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gordon Ramsay. Thanks to all my many guests this evening. Gordon, of course, Mitchell and Webb, Gary Barlow and Zach Braff. Next week.